Oikawa need the children to host the dark spores so that he could then use their energy to get to the digital world. So that's his plan. Now we get to talk about Digimon, and I don't really fully understand what or who Digimon is. He's a demon. That much is clear. And he has this mini squad of evil Digimon that follow him around. Okay. And he wants the dark spores for reasons that I don't think are explained. And I still have no idea who the hell Digimon is. All I know is that, like, his squad shows up, they fight the Digidestin, they all die. Then Digimon goes to Oikawa and demands personally that Ken is handed over with the dark spore, and Oikawa was willing to do it because he basically he copied the dark spore out of Ken, and that's what he used to inject. He injected copies of the dark spore into all the little children he has there. But the heroes rescue Ken, and then they manage to send Digimon to the Dark Ocean where he'll never escape. And in all the commotion, Oikawa escaped. Well, that was a weird couple of episodes. I don't know what to say about it. I have no feelings towards it, because I don't understand what the hell happened. You see, this is the problem with O2. It has, overall, some pretty good episodes, some pretty good character-driven episodes, some pretty interesting villains, or at least more interesting than adventure, but it just goes all over the place with its plot. And it's making it near impossible for me to dissect these constructively and give my honest opinions, because they're all just so weird. Like, first we're going around the world and it's a happy little adventure, and then we got demon lords sprouting out all over the place. And I don't feel like a whole lot was accomplished. I mean, the kids go around the world in this massive global fight against evil, and Oikawa just basically brainwashes and kidnaps like 20 kids. I was honestly expecting him to get a little more done than just that for, the scale on which this plan took, like this global scale it went on. And then we got all this Demon Lord crap, and all it basically amounted to was them just driving a couple blocks down the street, and then having Oikawa escape. Really, do we need the Demon Lords? It's not even like I think the episodes were that good or bad, it's just that they were really rushed and I didn't understand them. I mean, all these last only like 3 or 4 episodes. You can't introduce a new villain and then write him out so unceremoniously after 3 episodes. Just right around introducing Digimon if you're not going to do anything with him. Just have it like, okay, Oikawa takes Ken. Kids take part in high-speed chase. Oikawa uses his computer to, summon evil Digimon from the digital world, or Kenimon or Mummymon does it. The kids fight those evil Digimon, beat them, but by the time they catch up to the truck after all the fighting, Oikawa has already injected all the kids with the dark spores, and has escaped. I feel like I cannot comprehensively... I feel like I can't even talk about this. I feel like no matter what I say, I'm never going to be able to put down in words exactly how I feel about this. Because, like I said, it's so confusing. And you guys have pointed out that this was written by so many different people and so many different divisions and teams that it became this schizophrenic mess. And it becomes very apparent during the 3rd arc. Now, I don't know if I'm going to talk about Digimon during my villains part of the critique. I doubt it, because I feel like I've said everything I had to say about him. I just rewatched the episode, his couple of episodes. I may rewatch them again after doing this, just to see if there's nothing else I want to say during the villains part of the critique. But for now, we're just going to move on and try to wrap up talking about the plot, because there's not a lot left. And these next couple episodes, I kind of like, for reasons that I may not be able to explain, but there's a lot of tiny little things that I like that I'll get into when talking about some of the characters specifically. Okay, so anyway, the hunt for Oikawa is on now. He's hiding somewhere in the mountains. The heroes are trying to track down all the kids that were kidnapped to try to figure out what Oikawa exactly did to them. The heroes are also like trying to block up all the ports that connect the digital world to the human world to stop further bad things from happening. And just to complicate everything that's going on right now, even more, Black War Greymon shows up in the human world. He's hunting for Oikawa because he wants to find the person that created him or something. Anyway, the whole thing turns into a car chase. Oikawa escapes again. Anyway, then we get this episode, and I have to say, I really like this episode, and it kills me that I have decided not to talk about it for later. But I think this is one of the better episodes of the season. And what we learn from it is that Oikawa may not actually be in control of his actions, because for a brief moment he's possessed by this purple aura, which he then shoots out of his hand, and he actually ends up killing Black War Greymon, who uses his final moments to fly up into the sky and create a block, like a force field, between the human world and digital world. Oh, and also Oikawa got the spore flowers from the children that he kidnapped. And then just kind of runs off. And that's it for the plot for now. We're going to see the last, like, 3 or 4 episodes from when we talk about the finale. But now here's just my general thought for the plot and all the arcs as a whole. Confusing. I hope that I kind of was able to embody that with my overview. But yeah, this season just doesn't know where it wants to go and just changes its setting and tone just very quickly to the point it becomes very jarring. I mean, one moment it's very lighthearted, then all of a sudden becomes very dark. One moment we're flying around the world, the next moment we're dealing with car chases and evil demon spawns. And each one of these little, like, subplots or changes, they're very hit and miss, which is why I put this season so much like in the middle when I compare it to all the others, because there's a lot of things that don't work with this season in terms of episodes. Like I said, I don't like the round the world plot, and there's a lot of episodes I think are just awful, but enough of the episodes work for me to make it still enjoyable for me to watch. And of course, the villains are so much better than they were in Adventure, and the season does do a very good job of building a mystery around them to where I really just want to keep watching to figure out what's really going on with these characters. Like, why is Oikawa so determined to go to the digital world, and why does Ken have this dark digivice? And I feel that the third arc is a great example of both just how off the rails this season can get with its plot line, you know, with so many things going on and the venues changing so quickly, but at the same time having I think a very good mysterious villain that makes me willing to sit through a lot of the bad episodes just to find out more about him. So I mean, on its own merits, this season's plot is okay, but its biggest detractors are actually when it tries to make itself directly tied to Adventure. Because O2 has this weird thing going on where it's trying to kind of, you know, base itself off the popularity of Adventure and grow from that, but at the same time not wanting any of the responsibility of following up Adventure as a season. You know, I already mentioned there's a lot of continuity errors, and the season just starts to make stuff up, like with the Destiny Stones, because I understand it's trying to advance its own lore, but that lore just comes in just contradicts so much of Adventure to the point that I think this season should have just been better off just being a complete reboot, not having much connection, if any connection, to Adventure, and just going completely off the rails without any sort of pre-established history or rules weighing them down. You know, just let them go completely nuts. Anyway, I think that's going to be all for now. I actually have to go and start my midnight shift at my job. So next time we're going to start talking about the heroes. We're going to start off with Davis. Maybe move on to others. I don't know. I've got to try to work around my schedule. Anyway, guys, thank you for watching. Good night.
Don't want your love.
Americano, eh? Just like me.
Gene Parmesan, how you doing?
Gene, what the hell are you doing?